And now I've got to have to, and like, I know what he's going to say. I know what he's going to say with this chart, and he's right. And it's just like, oh, fuck, bro. Oh, God. Oh, God, bro. Like, what are they going to do? Why are they doing this to me? They would take the best parts of Lost Ark and PoE and push ARPGs further, but I was so wrong. Well, what they did do is they took the worst parts of PoE and some bad parts of Lost Ark, and they put those together. So they did kind of merge the two games, but it was like a, you know, like whenever, who was it? Gohan and Trunks, like, did, like, the fusion thing. But, like, imagine if it took, instead of, like, making them the most powerful version of the two of them put together, it's like, Goten, yeah, they, it made them the worst version instead. Goten and Trunks, but yeah, I don't know. I watched this in 6th grade, okay? 7th grade. I don't remember exactly.
Over the last 2 days, I have put in 20 hours into Path of Exile.
That's a good start.
This is not enough to fully understand the game, but it is definitely enough to tell you there is some massive differences between this game and Diablo 4.
Yeah.
Now, what I said in my review video of Diablo 4, and I do believe continues to be the truth, is that Diablo 4 is actually a game designed and built around entry-level players into the ARPG genre. It's
built for people Dad made, Dad tested, Dad approved. Dad gamers. That's it.
Which was one when Diablo 4 came out. I haven't played many ARPGs. Yeah, I played Lost Ark, and, you know, yeah, I played a little bit of Diablo 2, but I wasn't really like a master blaster through any of the ARPG categories. Which makes the fun graph of Diablo 4 look something like this. You start the game right here. As you are leveling towards level 80, you are having more and more fun with the game. Around level 80, the game starts to get more boring because this is where we just do nightmare dungeons over and over and over again. And then the game gets way more fun right when you beat Uber Lilith, and then it's right back to grinding nightmare dungeons.
As somebody who's been trying to beat Uber Lilith, I think the fight's trash. Like, I will beat Uber Lilith and do the 100 dungeon before I quit completely for the season, because it's like I have to beat the game. But it's just a bad fight. It's a badly designed fight.
Dungeons. So the game is mostly fun from the level 1 to 80 right here, and that is sort of where the game peaks. This would make sense because I think right around level 75, 80 is about where most of the average casual players are going to go. It seems like it's targeted to be this way for whatever reason. And by the way, I think the whatever reason is money, because the majority of players that are going to play these massively marketed games are casual, average, whatever you want to call them.
Oh yeah, you're casting a wide net. You're going to get a lot of minnows. You're not trying to get the big fish. You're just trying to get a lot of little fish. A lot of, 9 to 5 Andes, 4 hours a week Andes. People that just finished the campaign 2 weekends ago.
Normal people with not a lot of time, like I've said before. So when you're marketing those types of people, you design the game for those types of people to make the most type of sales, to make the most type of money. Okay, we all probably could have guessed that. For me, the Path of Exile graph looks very different. It starts like right here. Not very fun at all in the beginning. Gets more and more and more and more fun, and then you hit this portion where you see the skill tree for the...
I really fucking hope that, like, I don't have to watch more PoE videos, because, like, I've resisted playing this game and completely degenning it, and just, like, I've had so much other shit that I have to do, and, like, I've been trying to resist playing PoE, and now I've got to have to... And, like, I know what he's gonna say. I know what he's gonna say with this chart, and he's right. And it's just like, oh, fuck, bro. Oh, God. Oh, God, bro. Like, what are they gonna do? Why are they doing this to me? Fuck.
First time. Now, if you haven't seen it before and you're just a Diablo 4 player, let me actually show you, okay? Here it is. Oh, no, wait, that's not it.
Juggernaut?
Here it is. Let's scroll all the way out. And you can kind of see, there is quite a bit to this skill tree. So they hit that point, and then what happens is a good amount of people...
Y'all need to get him in the lab again. If he's been 20 hours on this game, he's ready for the second lab. Come on, guys. Come on, help him out. At least get him in the second lab.
Are are going
I think
to
that gets
shoot
him his
down
endurance
in
charges or
enjoyability.
something.
They're not really going to have a good time because they look at it, it feels overwhelming. Now, some of the people might actually have a split reaction and the enjoyability goes way more up, but I think a lot of the people that are newer to these types of games are going to look at that and it's going to feel overwhelming. However, PoE, if you push through and you just spend time figuring out and learning the game, it starts to get more and more and more enjoyable. So instead what we have is something like this, which is just a steady linear graph of fun as you continue to play through.
Well, it's also what matters is like the time here, right? This bottom vertical is or horizontal line is, this is at 0 hours and this is at 1,000 hours or like 200 hours inside of a league.
The game. So for Path of Exile, the reason to quit the game is pretty much right in the beginning of the game. Whereas in Diablo 4, the reason to...
I think that most people quit PoE before Act 3. 100%. Like, because if you get through the campaign and I feel like if you can get into red maps, you hopefully will stick with the game. Before Brudass, they quit PoE as soon as they accidentally hit the, was it O or P? That opens up the fucking... the skill tree. Yeah, they accidentally hit that button. They're like, oh, I gotta go.
Quit the game is after a lot of hours already into the game. This means that the people that enjoy Path of Exile are people that fairly early decided they like complicated.
Brutus is hard.
By the way, I'm having a pretty good time with it. I went in fully blind, and for me, I am able to clear so far. We're going to finish the campaign today, as a matter of fact. So if you want to watch the campaign,
I feel like 20 hours, first ever campaign playthrough, completely blind. I feel like that's pretty fucking good. I do. I think that's pretty fucking good, man.
Just for me clearing,
especially as being blind.
Final bosses. You can join right now as of the posting of this video. I'll have the link in the description or the pinned comment to see that live. But the point being, the Path of Exile players will have decided fairly early whether or not they like this style of game. Where in Diablo 4, you're going to need a pretty good amount of time in the game to decide whether or not it's a good game. So this has a split effect. The Path of Exile people tend to be more core dedicated fan base. You're going to see there's a lot of people that say a lot of good things about Path of Exile to play it. And the Diablo 4 people, by the time they get to the point that decides whether or not they're going to continue to play the game, they will either really, really like it and have a lot of hours into it and are okay with not having the in-game, or they're going to feel cheated by the time they get to the in-game and be mad because they've already got 30, 40 hours or whatever into the game, and then they realize there's not as much left at the end, and now they're frustrated because they do actually like the game, but there's nothing to continue to like the game about at that point. To put it,
they want to keep playing the game. Like, I want to keep playing Diablo 4, but the game just doesn't give me any reasons to. Like, I can't find anything to do. Like, maybe I'll have to, really, I mean, I was thinking, like, man, maybe I should play Diablo 4 so I can farm currency up for Darth microtransaction here to respec. I've got to farm his regret orbs because it's coming. Like, whether it's yellow maps, might just be early, like, late white maps, like, there's going to be a respec coming real quick.
More simply, Path of Exile takes less time for you to decide whether or not you're into this type of game. Diablo will take a while because it seems like the game is really good for a long time until at the end you realize, I do really like this game, I want to double down and play even more, but then there's nothing left to do.
I remember one time I was playing, this was like one of the first seasons they added the Cortex map into the game, and I was like farming Cortex, so like this dude, he gave me a Cortex map off stream, like I was taking a break from stream, and he gave me a synthesis. Yeah, well, was it synthesis? Synthesis. I think it was the league. Maybe it was. I don't remember. Anyway, I was playing the game, and like my character was fucking cracked. Like I could farm Cortex like it was nothing. This dude gives me a Cortex map. Straight up gives me one. He says, "Bro, I farmed 40 exalts in the last day farming these maps. I watch your stream. I'm gonna give you this one, and I want you to pay me back whenever you realize what I gave you." I said, okay. I run the Cortex. I drop a bottled faith on my first fucking clear. And I said, I looked that bitch up and it said 11. I said, what the fuck? And so I go and I start buying these like fucking crazy. And then the worst thing that happened is like, so my girlfriend came to visit and I stayed up all night farming Cortex. And then I had to pick her up. And then I woke up and I was about to get, I remember I was going to get on the computer. It was Izzy. I was going to get on the computer and she went like, eh? And I was like, oh, fuck. I'm not going to get it. Right? I wasn't going to get it. And so because I was farming for my headhunter, right? I thought I was going to get it. And so finally, this is like 2 weeks later, she leaves. That's whenever I made the video on my, I think I have it here. Let me see if I can find it. Fuck. Okay, let me see if I can find it on my likes. Because I remember I recently saw somebody brought it up to me. And let me see.
There's a video where, fuck. Where is it? No, that's not it. Shit.
I can't find it. Well, it's whenever I got my headhunter, okay? Oh, here it is. Here it is. So finally she leaves. She finally leaves. And I came back, like 2 days later. Okay, here we are. And I spent all of my money, everything that I had, on ancient orbs. And I said, fuck it. I'm gonna go for broke. I either get it or I don't. Nemesis, alright. And I recorded the attempts on my stream. Do you still have a girlfriend? No. Fuck. But I do have a headhunter. You're gonna see it. I thought I was gonna have it by now. Ready. Okay. Alright. Alright. Alright, we went through 20 of them. It's fine. Everything's good. I'm about to get it right here. Here we go. Alright. Gearing this game looks so cool. Yeah, it is. I didn't even want to do it. I was so upset. I spent all of my money, everything I had, on ancient orbs. I said, I'm going to try to go for it. And if I make it, I make it. If I don't make it, I never deserve to have it. Probably tabbing out to complain about this. I'm just, what am I doing? Like sitting here doing nothing? Okay, here we go. 6-5. Look, I'm almost out. What? What the wait, I didn't think. What the fuck, dude? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, what the fuck, dude? Oh, what? No. No. Don't. You guys have no idea how fucking happy I am right now, man. Oh my god. I still remember that shit. I still fucking remember that. 3 years ago. Over 3 years ago that shit happened. That's how good loot is in that game. Explain? I got the best belt in the game. What are the chances? I I don't know. They've changed them.
Now, it might seem if we're just looking...
And keep in mind, I was right here. Okay? That's what made me think of it, is the chart. I was right here at the chart. Max time, max fun. What makes the belt good? You know how, like, different monsters have, like, different powers? Whenever you kill the monsters, you steal all of their powers, and they become your powers. And it stacks. So, like, your character just becomes, like, faster, stronger, better. Like, just it does more damage. It's like, imagine, yeah, you're Kirby and you're sucking up everything. And there was, like, different techniques because, like, the perma, no. It was, like, for a period of time, but then you would get these gloves that were, like, self-curse gloves. So it was, like, if you applied a curse, or it applied, like, it was, like, temporal chains to yourself, and then temporal chains would make the duration that was 20 seconds last longer. And that way you had the buff up for, like, the whole map. It was fucking crazy.
At this graph right here, the Path of Exile, and what I'm saying is the superior, more fun game, but that's actually not quite my point. You see, the drop-off here is actually fairly significant for people in Path of Exile. I do think Path of Exile, if you are a hardcore ARPG enjoyer, has a lot more content to do. I don't think anyone could really argue otherwise. However, the mass amount of people that are going to enjoy that style of game as compared to what I believe is a game designed for the average person is very different. The problem therein lies in the actual content itself. Diablo 4 is going to blow up much bigger and die a much quicker death, whereas Path of Exile...
Well, because they've put way more marketing into it, too. Like, PoE has the strongest marketing, but the most limited marketing. You don't see commercials for Path of Exile. However, what's the strongest form of marketing? Well, if you take in a marketing class, you'd know it's word of mouth. And, like, look at me. I'm sitting here talking about how fun the game is. I'm not being paid. I'm not being sponsored. I should be. But I'm not. And that's it. And I did the same thing for other people, too. Like, before I was even a streamer. I was like, you should play this game.
Now, for 10 years, constantly developing content is a slow, steady growth pattern of people that are choosing to stay in for years and years and years. There's also one other point to make. If we go back to this graph for a moment, right about here, there is a split dimension in which your enjoyability can go down through the floor. And this is by bricking a character. Now, I am playing the game fully blind. It means I actually don't know any guides. I haven't looked...
I had this happen. By the way, my first character... This is exactly what happened to me, and it went even farther down below this. It did. I had a horrible time.
Up. I'm trying to get an experience of the game from somebody that just would download it on Steam and just play a game because it shows up on the Steam store in order to do these types of videos and give a review of what I believe is like the normal average guy. The problem is the normal average guy in Path of Exile, by the time you get to about this point, will have ruined his character and need to start the loop over again. This is a huge moment in which your enjoyability can go through the floor. This basically forces two things. It forces the types of player that would actually want to min-max builds to be able to accelerate their progress effectively, because they're going to be one of the people that don't brick their characters because they actually are looking into the game to look ahead and figure out what to have happen. However,
but they don't know that because going into it, they have no idea. And that's what the issue is. Like, I do really believe this. I think PoE does itself no favors by not allowing respecs during the campaign. I don't think that it makes the game better in any way. I think it just hurts the game, and I think it hurts so many new players. Because it like, they don't get to the point to where they get hooked. I wish they would let you respec before you finished Uber Lab, or at least before you finish the campaign.
Second portion of this is that dilutes the amount of people on the planet that will enjoy this style of game, because not everyone wants or has the ability to do that in these types of game. That means the overall ceiling in the amount of players for Diablo 4, let's say 4, is going to look like this, Where right about here is where the total number of players that are going to play for at any given time would be, but Path of Exile will only ever reach right about here. One, because D4 was marketed more heavily, therefore going to receive more.
Yeah, but D4 is going to go down way more. Like, that's the thing. And also, PoE doesn't have to be more popular than Diablo 4. Like, for example, like, my favorite fighting game always was Soul Calibur. I thought that was my favorite. That was my favorite one. I thought that was the one I played. It's less popular than Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, but I still like it the most. Right? And so it's not like it's not like more popular equals better game. It's like Tarkov versus Call of Duty. Like, the people that play Tarkov aren't playing an inferior game because more people play Call of Duty. Tarkov is like a much more complex version of the game.
Negative feedback from just more overall people, but also that game. Path of Exile itself requires a different mentality of game. You can pick up Diablo 4, play it casually for a short amount of time, and have a better experience than someone who does the same amount of research into Path of Exile. Fairly quickly into Path of Exile, you will realize you are being punished for not taking the game as a job. So where does that leave us? Yeah. Well, basically the conclusion I've come to is this. If you're the type of person that hops from game to game, likes to try out trending games, does not play the ARPG genre solely, and is somebody who just wants to see what the latest thing is, try Diablo 4. You're going to get your money's worth out of the game. It is $70, and you will get probably 30 or 40 hours of good enjoyability out of it. You can stretch it out to 100.
I agree with him. I do. I agree with him. I think that you will probably get that much enjoyment if you're a casual gamer. Sure.
And then at that point, you have received your money's worth. Diablo 4 will probably not be the game for you that is going to be your main game that you play for years straight.
Probably
Maybe
not.
They'll save it with the new seasons. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But what I will tell you is that Diablo 4 is probably a temporary game that is enjoyable for a certain time span. Path of Exile is a different type of breed. It is the type of game that the longer you spend in it, the more you get into the community, the more and more you get into min-maxing. Yeah. And if you're the type of person that doesn't want to put 100 or 200 hours, you want to put 1,000 or 2,000 hours into a game, then Path of Exile is for you. Or if you are an ARPG enjoyer that wants to just go absolutely crazy in these types of games, or feel like you're the only one on the planet that has your build, that is Path of Exile. But again, it's going to require much more time, much more dedication, many more hours to get that max enjoyability out of it. They're different types of games.
Yeah, it's just a completely different level of investment.
Within the same genre, but they appeal to different people, which is, I believe, why we see such a large amount of arguments between PoE greater than D4, D4 greater than PoE. They're offering different products for different type of game enjoyers, and I think that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a bad thing that the game is provided. It's not a bad thing that the game is for a different audience. And this is what I said with Diablo 4 the whole time. Is that Diablo 4 isn't supposed to be this like crazy game that like you play forever. It's not supposed to have the depth of PoE. But I do think that like if you're a hardcore player and you're really excited about, you know, playing games like this constantly all the time, ARPG type games, you definitely are probably going to get more out of PoE. But like if you're like, what I'm saying is like, okay, here's a really good way to say it. If you only have 20 hours to put into a game, you'll probably get more out of Diablo 4 than PoE. But if you have 200 hours to put into a game, you'll probably get more out of PoE than Diablo 4. That's the best way that I can say it.